When you guys have gotten your big-to-big passing going, what have been some maybe common denominators that you've seen? Is it spacing, timing, quick decisions? What's involved there?
Certainly all that. The spacing's important, especially against this team. They tend to cheat, higher up the floor. And if you can get kind of the second level of their defense, then you can have some baseline cuts. And, Chet found one. We found Hartenstein in transition. We found Hartenstein against the zone. Hart found Chet on another one that was kind of a broken play. And so those are big plays for us. The guys are skilled. They can make those plays. And we obviously needed all the points we could get in that last game.
Mark, I think this was after Game 3 that you said something along the lines of what happened down the stretch of that game wasn't anything tricky that Denver was doing that you guys didn't need to reinvent yourselves. Like, what are they doing specifically with Shea? What is it that they're doing that maybe you've seen before, but it just happens to maybe throw a wrench in your offense?
I think the biggest takeaway of what they're doing through 4 games is that they're doing a lot. It's more so that than any one specific thing. They've thrown 3 different zones out against us. They've switched. They've had Jokic back, Jokic up to the level of the screen. They've just shown a lot of different looks and a lot of different schemes, and have pivoted pretty quickly to those in games, game to game and half to half, possession to possession sometimes. But, fortunately for us, we've kind of seen a lot of what they've shown. We've tried to teach against some of the things that they've shown, and hopefully we're improving as we go here, as they show different looks at us. There's only so many they can throw, and so we just have to understand what they're in, what they're doing, how best to attack it, and pull those tools at the appropriate times.
And how would you just describe Christian Braun's role in all of that?
He's a really good player, really competitive. He's physical. He's smart. He's in the right spots. He's shown great discipline on that end of the floor. He's hard playing, not only defensively, but on offense. Obviously, great runner, great offensive rebounder. There's a reason he plays the load of minutes that he plays for them. He's a really good player.
Mark, you're in this position a year ago, Game 5, tied series. What lessons did you learn last year that you could use today?
None that are like a through line from Game 5 to Game 5. It's more the cumulative wisdom that you get over the course of time. We certainly learned a lot of lessons last year, as we did the year before that, as we did this year. Joe, I think, asked me about the same thing yesterday. I understand there's a parallel, but we're a different team. Our players are more evolved. We have different players. Denver's a different team than a year ago. Than Dallas a year ago. So it's a completely different circumstance in the present moment. But certainly every experience, every win, every loss, everything we've gone through has helped, form us into who we are today, and we'll continue to go through that process and continue to try to grow.
I've seen a lot of big bodies at Nikola. Have y'all worn him down successfully? Because they don't have a lot of depth as it is. As this series carries on, do you feel like you're getting to him in terms of not only creating turnovers, but forcing him to miss shots?
Yeah, we don't have a ton of control over, his fatigue level. It's more we're trying to keep activity, and freshness on the court, as much as possible. He's a great player. Murray's a great player. They're a great offensive team that is capable of huge nights, individual guys and the team. And we want to throw everything we have at that, and we've done that so far. And the guys have stepped up and done a great job. But it's not just him. Murray last game, Dort had him, Kaysen had him, Caruso had him. It was like shift work. And same with Jokic. We've tried to do that to give those guys different looks, allow different guys to get more and more familiar with those players. But those guys are big-time players, and they're going to throw their best punch tonight. We're not going to be surprised by how ready they are to play the game.
What have you seen in the evolution of Case and Wallace in particular this year?
Well, I think the thing that you have to account for as you talk about his development was how high his baseline was last year. He started our first preseason game as a rookie. He was playing 20 minutes a game on a high-level team as a rookie. He closed playoff games for us last year. So, his competitiveness, his physical gifts, his intelligence, all that stuff coming in the door was really, really, really good. And this year, he's just evolved as a more dynamic offensive player, and I think he's really learned the league. I think last year, Dort was like this. Those guys are just so competitive and reactive as competitors that when they're young, they're respectfully clueless, but they're just like really effective on effort and physical gifts. And then over time, you guard Jamal Murray once, and then you guard him twice, and then you guard him 3 times, and then you're guarding him 10 times at some points, and you really learn the league, you learn the opponents, you learn the tricks. He's in Dort's much more evolved in that process, but Kayson's on his track there, and I think being around Dort and Caruso, who are both highly effective but very different, has really helped him with that as well.
Coach, you've had 3 or 4 close playoff games. From a poise standpoint, what do you feel like you guys have performed, especially in the aftermath of Game 1?
The guys this has always been a very poised team, and just because you're poised doesn't mean you're going to win every close game. Denver's a poised team, and they'll lose a close game too. So the team has great poise. I think the poise that is most evident in this team right now is the way that we have recentered when we've gotten punched. I mean, this is a slugfest of a series, and you're going to get punched when you're in the ring, and you're going to throw punches when you're in the ring. And when we've gotten punched, the guys have shown great confidence, great poise to just stand back up and get back to the next moment, the next game, the next possession, and that's what we have to continue to do.
Coach, last year against Dallas, your bigs were on the bad end of it. Acquisitions kind of changed that. Just wondering how significant the change in bringing in iHeart and getting really good play out of Jay Will has helped you against Joker.
Has been unbelievable. They've been unbelievable on both ends of the floor. They've been unbelievable all year. I've spoken at length about Hartenstein and what he's brought to the team. Nothing more than just his fit. How seamless his fit's been in the locker room with the guys. We've been able to take steps forward without any steps backwards with him and Caruso. Jay Will's development. Thinking back to where he started. I mean, he's playing in the G League in his rookie year. For long stints, he was like the last guy that year to like break the rotation. He didn't break the rotation till like the new year of his rookie season, and by the end of the year, he was starting for us. And then Chet, has developed in a significant way over time. And so great internal development, obviously a great add with Hart and great development by him throughout the course of the year. And obviously Jokic is as good as anybody. We need all those guys.
Anybody else? Oh, Barry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mark, you say, and it's true, every game is different in a series. But do you have an explanation for how the games are so different? I mean, the Denver scores in the whole game what you scored in the half. You've got 2 wins, 57 points difference in how many you scored. What's the explanation for why things vary so much?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I know that's a fact. That's all I know. And I think it helps get the team prepared and be present to understand that. Every game's a new game. And I think it helps in the midst of the game when you're dealing with uncertainties, or when you're dealing with things that are changing or that are different from last game, or even half to half. It just helps you have a perspective and stay present and play through the 48. So aside from that, I can't explain it for you.
Is the proliferation of 3-point shots a factor?
Probably, especially with the scoring. Both teams were 1 for 30. I mean, the first quarter of the other night. Sorry to everybody that had to.
Anyone else? Thank you.
All right, thanks.